What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news concerning Danny the Miracle Man Jacobs. You know, it's all eyes on Golovkin because of course, we know Canelo Alvarez states after he beats Jacobs, he's going to have the third fight with Golovkin. Now, Danny Jacobs is saying, when or if I beat Canelo, I'm going to give Golovkin the rematch. So, it's all eyes on Golovkin. Golovkin has a big target on his back. The question you ask yourself, how likely is it that Danny Jacobs beats Canelo? I mean officially. I don't mean actually. Because, you know, for me, a lot of people either came close or beat Canelo Alvarez. You know, Floyd beat him first. I think Lara beat him second. And Golovkin, one of those fights. I know Golovkin won the first fight, you know, so that's my opinion. Because of, you know, the punches landed, the aggression, you know, the effective aggressiveness by Golovkin. So, you know, how likely is it, if it is a close fight, that Jacobs will get the nod? You know what I mean? Will he get the yay or will he get the nay? We don't know. We'll see. You know, because if it's just a dominant performance, because Danny Jacobs, that is going to be a good fight. And honestly, I'm just glad to see any other fight besides Golovkin-Canelo. Because in the first two fights, we're going to see about those two guys, with those two guys. And really the best that Golovkin can offer at his age now. Now, a lot of people say don't throw his age in there, but we have to. Okay, we have to, because we never know, or we will never know, how good Golovkin would have been in 2016. Because remember, guys, when Canelo beat Cotto, and this was in the end of 2015, mind you, it was mandatory that whoever won the WBC strap had to fight Golovkin because he was the mandatory. Okay, now the date was supposed to be set to Cinco de Mayo weekend in 2016. That date was pushed a year and a half. Okay, he fought and knocked out Khan in 6 rounds, Cinco de Mayo weekend. He said he wasn't a middleweight, remember that? And he wanted Golovkin to come 5 pounds down to his weight to starch him, you know, put him in uncharted territories, uncharted waters, rather. And the fight was pushed back a year and a half. So, yeah, that took a lot of time for Golovkin, you know, and it took time off Golovkin. It made him a little older and made him at that perfect age. And it put Canelo at that perfect age to fight Golovkin. So when Golovkin was getting out of his prime and Canelo was coming into his prime, that's what we saw. That's the fight that represented that particular rumble, okay? That rumble was that equation. An older guy leaving out of his prime versus a younger guy coming into his prime, okay? That's the fight we saw September of 2017, okay? And then the next time they fought, it was another year, all right? In 2018. Classic fights, but guess what? The worst thing that could happen, they fight again, you know, and it's like, hey, Canelo does something by knocking him out. How much credit would he really get? You know what I mean? For knocking out Golovkin. You know, because Golovkin hasn't fought anyone else besides Vanes Martirosyan since then. Okay, so, you know, I would like to see him in there with Jacobs again, me personally. You know, to see what Jacobs can do, see what Jacobs does in the rematch, you know. And I think the knockdown was the difference in that fight between Golovkin and Jacobs. But it was a good fight, nonetheless. And I like Danny Jacobs. And these are good fights in the middleweight division. The middleweight division is lit. And it's looking more promising than any other division because now we have definite fights. We have 2 top fighters, 2 champions that state they want to fight the ex-champion. So that's great. That's wonderful. That's what we need to see in the sport of boxing in each and every weight class. Okay. So Danny Jacobs saying this is something special. This is promising. And either one, they have to face Triple G. And I'm hoping it's Jacobs, just for the sake of Jacobs fighting Golovkin twice. Okay? And it's funny on Golovkin's end, you know, you ask yourself this question. You know, would you rather fight Charlo? Would you rather fight Danny Jacobs again? You know, he's stuck in a rock and a hard place. You know, his road is hard. The fights, the funny, ironic thing also, the fights that he was asking for years ago, he's finally getting at a older age. But better late than never, Golovkin. You know, you got a hard road ahead of you. So anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Danny Jacobs fighting Golovkin again after the rematch. Will he make it? Can he do it? Will he beat Golovkin this time? You guys tell me. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. You guys been counterpunched. Peace.